to answer each question. Question 1. Texas being a border state, as well as having thriving ports, as well as controlling outer space travel, as well as owning the largest biocontainment lab in the world, has some security issues. What are your plans to improve and maintain the security of the sovereign state of Texas and the United States?
I have a four-pronged plan for rectifying this border issue. We have 1,957 miles of southern border. We have a little over 22,000 border agents throughout the southern border, around the Florida Peninsula, up on the Canadian northern border, and in some of the island states. What I want to do is my first prong attack is to reallocate some of these border agents and send them down to the southern border. And I want to triple the border agents down on the southern border. Doesn't cost the taxpayers anything, and it allows us to highlight where the problem is. The second thing is I want to remove the magnet, and what I want to do by that is, what I mean by that is I want to eliminate the welfare programs, I want to eliminate free education, and I want to eliminate the health care that illegal aliens are receiving. The third thing I want to do is I want to allow the law enforcement officials to enforce the laws. We have sanctuary cities here in Lake City that allows illegal aliens to congregate. The law enforcement officials can't do a thing about it. We spent a lot of time in Austin trying to get our state legislators to pass an anti-sanctuary cities bill. We couldn't get that to happen. I know that it can happen. It's just you have to have someone with the mental fortitude and the gut fortitude to make this happen. The fourth thing is I want to expedite the immigration policy so that those people who want to be Americans, because we are a nation of immigrants. I is an immigrant. Okay? Those who want to be Americans, and I promise you, a lot of people want to be Americans, let them come in through the front door. Don't make it so hard that they have to go around the back door and make it illegal. It's a simple plan. It's something that can be happening. But one last thing I want to do is, we're bringing in a lot of armored vehicles right now into the United States. I want to use those in the southern border.
Question 2. Oil, black gold, Texas tea. Even Jed Clampett understood the power of oil and natural gas in today's society. Texas sits on some of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world. Our Gulf is dotted with thousands of oil rigs. Our refineries distill millions of gallons of gasoline and fuel, as Congressman from the 14th District of Texas. What energy policy will you support?
A strong one. We have the XL Keystone Pipeline that's trying to be built from Alberta across the Midwest states down to Cushing, Oklahoma, and that's 1,667 miles of pipeline. And then we have another 348 miles that go from Cushing, Oklahoma, that's going to go down to Houston area and over to Port Arthur. The Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, allows the Congress to do what they call an interstate compact, and allows them to have international compact. They have that power, and they can use this power to make a compact with a foreign nation and amongst the several states. That can happen. So we have to bring oil back to the states. Two good reasons for that is that it allows the Bakken fields up in Montana and in North Dakota to feed into this XL Keystone Pipeline and bring rich, pure oil from American fields down to the southern border where we can actually, yes. Okay. Another thing, we have oil and gas fracking that's going on right now, and in West Texas, they're stopping the oil and gas fracking because they have this lizard that has this little triangle underneath the leg that you have to turn this little lizard upside down to see if it's a sand dune lizard. And because of that, we can't drill in West Texas. That's ridiculous. And the third thing is that we have a permitorium, and what I mean by that is that the Department of Interior is not allowing drilling in the Gulf, because I really believe that Obama's trying to destroy this nation. And that's one of the reasons I'm running, because I believe we have someone who is trying to destroy American business and the American way of life.
Question 3. The current president and the past Congress shoved a health care policy down our throats. A policy that is wasteful and unconstitutional. If elected, what specific steps will you take to not just undo this catastrophe, but to provide the world's best health care policy?
As all you guys know, Obamacare has to go. I mean, that really is, that doesn't have to be said. We have to repeal Obamacare. If we don't repeal Obamacare, then you're going to have your Medicare checks double, 2.5 times by 2014. What we have to do is we have to have a comprehensive health care program that allows those, and I believe the best way to fix the health care program is to have skin in the game. I think we have to have co-pay. Everybody should pay a little bit into it, and the reason I say that is because if you have a little skin in the game, it keeps you from going to the doctor, because I'm sorry, but human nature says if it's free, you're going to take advantage of it. So I believe that it has to be both government intervention, and when I say that, because I'm a constitutional conservative, I don't mean to overrule this, but I believe that the people have to have a little skin in the game to make the healthcare system work. I believe that if we allow the federal government, and I'm running for a federal office, I promise you something, I'm going to push for hands off. But if we allow the federal government to continue to encroach on our freedoms here in the state and on the freedoms of the people, that there is no way of taking this back. It's a done deal, and so what I want to do is I want to make sure that we all have a skin in the game.
Question 4. Economics deals with unlimited demand and limited supply. Our country's current handling of our government's budget does not reflect the understanding of a limited supply. CD14 has its share of special projects, also known as earmarks or pork. How will you balance the needs of your constituents against the need for a balanced budget?
Great question. We are borrowing 43 cents out of every dollar that we spend in the United States. We collect every day $6 billion. We spend $10.5 billion a day. 10.5. So we are in the red every day, $4.5 billion. That's with the B. At the end of the year, if you just do the math, you're at $1.6 trillion in debt. What we have to do by eliminating the waste is we have to, and I don't like to call it an earmark, because an earmark is somebody's special project. The way you spend money is like for NASA. If NASA we have to spend money in NASA because it's national security. I think it's an abrogation, and I think it's an insult that we would be hitchhiking to space with Russian vehicles or Chinese vehicles. I think it's ridiculous. So what we have to do is we have to spend money on national security issues. In the port of the Sabine Neches waterway, there's a $8.7 million project to deepen the inlet, the water inlet, and widen it. That's national security. This is all that's coming in and all the goods that are coming into this country. If we don't do that, let me tell you what happens, what's happening right now. They're actually taking a oil barge, bringing it in, and they're having to anchor it 13.5 miles out into the ocean, and they're having to bring satellite vessels in, unloading oil into the satellite vessels to bring them in because the waterway is not deep enough. It's ridiculous. So what I say is, let's spend money that are good for the country. These are national security issues, things that are good for the country. If it's a special project, you scratch my back, it's bridge to nowhere, whatever you want to do. Like I said, you cut it out. But I think if you do a bill that gets sunshine, if you shine the light on all these bills, I think it allows you a chance to eliminate all the waste.
Thank you, Robert Gonzalez.